Oh, it's so good, man. It is so good on a Tuesday morning to celebrate the LSU football's 4th national championship. All 4 of those captured in the city of New Orleans. Town still partying deep into the night, into the early mornings, was going back and forth. The city is still buzzing from last night's win as LSU captures the national championship, 42-25. We got tons of sound coming up. Thad Malls,
good on
Patrick
us.
Queen.
We kept it professional. We both did not party last night. We resisted the clarion call of bourbon and everybody going. It hurt me to leave that city. It really did. I got on the interstate and I felt a part of my soul kind of leaching out of my body. But being the responsible, soon-to-be 31-year-old father of 2 that I am, got my ass back here for work, and now I'm celebrating a little bit this morning.
That's a funny-looking coffee you're sipping there on the TV.
It's what you would call an Irish coffee. And by that I mean it's an Irish bean. It's an Irish bean that it's based off of. Ireland grows coffee beans, right?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, it sounds right to me.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the experience of last night and the weekend, man. We were there covering the entire event from T-Bob was there Saturday. I got there on Sunday, and then, of course, into Monday with our live coverage yesterday. Shout out to Oshner for the setup yesterday over at
Great
Benson
studio
Tower.
they got over there, dude.
Fantastic studio,
High
man.
quality cameras.
Yeah, the production.
Nathan, you would have liked it. You would have loved it.
The production room was
Well, I was in here watching from there. We cataloged it all on YouTube. That stuff was nice. A lot of headroom.
Yeah.
It was
Some of us
nice.
had to be here, you know.
Yeah.
Not in the nice
sorry,
studio.
team. I know. Sorry, team. But hey, we all made this happen. It started with Jordy, the Kingmaker, getting Ed Ogeron hired here at Baton Rouge. I mean, how good, and I don't mean like Derek Panamsky because he looks great as well, but how good does the binder itself look at this point? The master plan. That thing is so valuable. If I ever write National Treasure 3, which is my greatest ambition in life, Nicolas Cage will be hunting down the LSU binder to try to solve how to be national champions.
It's got a little bit of a Hollywood feel to it when you kind of look at it from afar and look at Ogeron, the opportunity that he had to come back to Louisiana, become the defensive line coach, then work himself into an interim head coach. From the interim right there, he hires a radio guy in Derek Panamsky who's got a good relationship with the athletic director. That really kind of helps him out throughout the negotiating process of the interim stance. Oliva decides on Ogeron, kind of falls into Ogeron. We're going to talk about that Oliva article with Rabelais that came out last week. We were so deep into the coverage of the national championship, we didn't get a chance to react to it, but I thought that was very classless by Oliva to talk about that during that time of LSU's preparation of a national championship. You had your time, man. You were the boss. You had a chance to control that scenario. Nobody cares about what you have to say 8 months after the fact. But
think
we'll
about
talk
this.
About that.
Think about this.
I don't want to get.
No, we don't want to get off on that. But so let's talk about then something you touched on. Everything that had to happen to reach this moment. You had to have the Bungles Miles firing. That ended up with him getting another year. You had to have O going 6-2 at USC, but the snobbery of Los Angeles not willing to commit to him. I bet you. Oh my God, USC! I bet you wish you got Clay Helton. So you had to have him go 6-2 there. You had to have Charlie Strong get unexpectedly fired from Texas in order for Tom Herman to want to take that job. You had to have O go 6-2 during the LSU interim to end up with the job. You had to have Burrow be in an Ohio State quarterback room with superstars, even though he secretly was the ultimate superstar. But I mean, he was behind first rounders. You had to have Joe Brady, a nobody, randomly be working with Sean Payton in New Orleans, Louisiana. What are the chances? You had to have a guy like Steve Ensminger, who there are not more egotistical human beings on the planet than college football coaches. And yet Steve Ensminger lacks ego. He's the epitome of a team guy. I mean, you had to have O, and think about this, you even had to have O fail miserably at Ole Miss, because you can't write this story without those lessons. And we can all take a lesson from that. You cannot let failure define you. It would have been real easy. After the Ole Miss job blew up in his face, it would have been real easy to accept his fate. I'm not supposed to be a head coach. It is what it is. I'm a great D-line coach. I'm this or that. He stayed the course. Instead of letting that failure define him, he let that failure teach him. And he evolved. And he grew. And look at him now. He's on top of the world.
He's on top of the world, and he's the best coach in college football. And it's not because of what he accomplished last night. It's because of the relationship that he has with his team, his players. He talks about his staff, his ability to go out and hire a staff, and overall run a program. LSU's football program right now is a machine.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, as far as the
and this is
recruiting
juice.
goes,
This is hyper fuel.
holy cow. I mean, the amount of fuel you put into the tank last night for a guy like Ogeron. Ogeron went to bed. Like he's not up partying. He celebrated a little bit last night, but he's back to work this
And what
morning.
did he say? I think last night on some interview, my mom was telling me, because I was driving, so I didn't get to listen to a lot of it, but apparently when asked what he was going to do next, he said, I want to go eat a ham sandwich. I mean,
Just kinda relax.
Is there anything more?
Exhale.
Oh, yes, exhale. You did it. You climbed the mountaintop. Also, speaking of food, I love the fact that LSU got Popeyes while Clemson got Chick-fil-A. I mean, that says it all right. I mean, that says it all right there.
Here's Ogeron talk about what it means for the state.
I remember growing up there, man, losing was an option. It was not an option, man. You have to win. And win in bitty basketball, you have to win in the backyard. Cajun people took a lot of pride in who they were. LSU was big, obviously watching Ronnie Estee and them play, so it's going to mean a lot to them. I mean, they're very prideful. It means a lot to everybody in the state of Louisiana. Everybody bled the purple and gold. I think it's a tremendous night for everybody.
I mean, I'm getting goosebumps, dude. Like, yeah, you could get emotional if you wanted
Absolutely
to. I
could.
cannot
Absolutely
believe
could.
that this guy came from cutoff Louisiana and now led LSU to maybe the greatest college football season of all time.
Can we stop with the maybe stuff? Like, really? I'm taking.
I just say that because I'm not like a Hanny.
You don't
I
wanna
don't
be the
have
bi-
like
yeah,
I don't
I
have
know.
like the I don't
know.
have the perspective maybe that some of the greats
The
do.
only comparison I can think of in my lifetime, right? Because I don't have the wherewithal, I don't have the mind. I wasn't here for the 70s Nebraska's run and all that stuff. But when I think of college football royalty, when I think about teams, great seasons, I think about those Miami teams in 2000, 2001,
2001 is the one that everybody talks about.
2001 specifically, when you just look at the roster and look at the accomplishments, because when you talk about this LSU team, T-Bob told you about what the resume looks like as far as the schedule and the teams they beat. But when you start looking about the individual accomplishments of this 2019 team, you can start with Ogeron. He took home every National Coach of the Year.
I mean,
award.
how about it, dude?
His top assistant is Joe Brady, who was recognized as the national top assistant in college football. Joe Burrow's the best player in the sport. Every award that says that is in Joe Burrow's living room. They've got the Bolitnikoff Award winner, which goes to the top wide receiver. They've got the Thorpe Award winner, which goes to the best defensive back. They've got the Joe Morgan Award, which goes to the offensive line.
Let's go.
I mean, they've got all SEC guys. I mean, come on, Derek Stingley. We can all say he's the freshman rookie of the year in college football, right? I mean, how boring are the next 2 years of college football going to be for Stingley?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say
is
that kid's 18.
anybody even going to look at his
that
way?
kid's 18.
They didn't look at him last night.
No.
I mean,
They went after Fulton.
and they went after Fulton. The PI on Fulton was about as bad as the offensive PI on the Clemson
Yeah,
wide
that's
receiver
it.
late in the game. Those
All
PI
things even
calls
out.
were- yeah, right.
All things even out. It's all good.
Pac-12 boys.
Let's
Not
chill.
a lot of speed from Pac-12 boys out there, man. All right, listen, so we got your mailbag questions. I want to
No, here one more thing
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
greatest team of all time. I will say this: it's not like whatever, dude. People, it's subjective, right? So people can have talks about the talent and like, is this talent? But I think objectively, nobody else can claim a resume like that.
No way.
Because nobody ever had 6 AP top 10 wins. As we said, LSU now has 7. 5 of the teams that finished in the top 8. 5 of the top 8. LSU beat. Like we said, the Big 12 champs, ACC champs, Orange Bowl champs, Fiesta Bowl champs,
T,
Sugar Bowl champs. It's unbelievable.
If you want to go specifically over the last 3 games, they've taken top 5 opponents and mopped the floor with them.
Killed him.
Crushed
and,
them.
And that is, and okay, and I don't, no, I'm going to be that guy. I was going to say, I don't want to be the guy saying, oh, look, I was right. But I told you after the Ole Miss game to chill on the defense. Did I not? I said, this is a talented defense. They're going to be just fine. And why did you murder everyone down the stretch? Because the defense finally came into its own, and the defense kicked ass. And you saw it last night. After that first quarter, Clemson was done. They couldn't get anything all night long because that LSU defense was so dominant.
All right, we'll talk more about we'll open up the phone lines if you're out there. You're still partying. You're on your way into work. You're at the desk. You celebrated. You were at the game. You were watching in your living room. You're at a watch party. I want to hear about it. Call us. 225 area code 499-1045. We'll take your phone calls. We'll give our reaction. We got a ton of sound. Your mailbag questions at 8:15. Off the Bench daily presented by All Star Toyota.